Welcome to the deep dive. We're all about plunging into complex topics and really pulling out those key insights for you. And today we're doing something a bit different, actually, because it's deeply personal. We're talking about your body. Ever feel like, the standard health advice, it just doesn't quite fit, like something's missing for you? Well, today's deep dive is all about that. We're exploring the real cutting edge of personalized health, nutrition, and importantly, prevention. We'll look at how data, literally from your biology, can completely shift how you approach well-being, moving way past that one-size-fits-all stuff.
Absolutely. And the perspective we're bringing today is grounded in medical science. We're drawing from Dr. Edward Latham. He's a consultant cardiologist. Specifically, his article, From Genes to Greens, How DNA Shapes Your Nutritional Needs. Our goal, really, is to unpack how your unique biology, your genes, interacts with your lifestyle, how it all works together. It reveals this path towards truly individual health strategies. Quite revolutionary, actually.
Okay, so personalization. We hear that word a lot. Let's really drill down. First stop, our genes. This idea of nutrigenomics. What is that exactly? And these gene polymorphisms, what do they tell us?
Right. So nutrigenomics is, well, it's the science of how your genes and the nutrients you consume interact. It sounds simple, but it's deep. And DNA testing now lets us see these small variations, polymorphisms in your DNA. They're totally natural. Everyone has them. But these tiny differences directly affect how you absorb nutrients, how you metabolize them, how your body uses them. Macros, micros, the lot.
Okay, that's already fascinating. Can you give us some concrete examples from the article, maybe things that might surprise people? What about, say, the FTO and MC4R genes?
Yeah, good example. So FTO and MC4R, they're linked to how your body tends to store fat and also how sensitive you are to satiety signals like, feeling full. Understanding your specific variants here gives clues about your natural tendencies with weight management. It's not just willpower, like many think.
Interesting. Okay, what about MTHFR polymorphisms? That sounds pretty technical.
It does, but it's super important. MTHFR variations impact how well your body processes folate, which is a B vitamin. And this affects a core process called methylation. Methylation does, loads of things. DNA repair, inflammation control, even making neurotransmitters. So, variations here, they can influence your energy, your mood, even your cardiovascular risk. It's fundamental stuff.
Wow, okay. That connects directly. Now, as a coffee lover, I have to ask about CYP1A2 variants.
Yes. CYP1A2 variants dictate how quickly your body breaks down caffeine.
So slow or fast metabolizer.
Exactly. If you're a slow metabolizer, that afternoon coffee might genuinely be messing with your blood pressure, your sleep, much more than for someone else. Knowing that lets you tailor your caffeine intake. Really tailor it.
Makes sense. And lastly, the LC2 gene.
LCT tells you about lactose tolerance. Simple, but crucial if you're relying on dairy for calcium, right? Helps you figure out if you're actually absorbing it well or just setting yourself up for digestive issues. So the big picture here is that this genetic info lets doctors or nutritionists, fine-tune advice. Maybe you need more B vitamins or need to watch your fat intake more carefully or perhaps choose different carbs based on your genetic profile. It moves beyond guesswork.
Right. That's the blueprint, our inherited tendencies. But what about right now? What's actually happening inside? That feels like the next logical step. So moving from the might happen of DNA to the is happening, let's talk real-time data, continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, and food tracking apps.
Yes, exactly. CGMs are honestly game-changing. Even for people without diabetes, they show these amazing differences between people in how foods affect blood sugar. One person eats oats, their glucose spikes. Another person, totally stable.
And that's not just about the food itself.
Not entirely. It's not just the glycemic index. Your gut microbiome plays a huge role. Your insulin sensitivity at that moment, even stress levels. It's complex.
Okay, and this is where it gets really techy and interesting. The article mentions combining CGM data with AI-powered food tracking, creating a phenotypic feedback loop. What does that mean in practice?
It's exactly what it sounds like, a real-time feedback system based on your phenotype, meaning your current observable characteristics. You eat something, track it, see the glucose response almost immediately on the CGM. So you learn which meals keep your glucose nice and steady, which ones lead to energy crashes, or maybe trigger cravings later. You can even see how things like fasting or a hard workout or a bad night's sleep affect your numbers.
So it's like a personalized metabolic diary.
Precisely. It lets you and your doctor refine choices based on actual metabolic response, not just theory, but your body's reality.
Okay, so we have the genetic blueprint, the real-time journal. What about the structure itself? the actual composition of our bodies. You mentioned weight, like 70 kilos, but what's inside that number matters more. Tell us about things like DEXA scans and low-dose CT.
Right. So DEXA, that's dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, gives incredibly detailed info. It measures visceral fat. That's the dangerous stuff deep around your organs.
Yeah.
You can have a normal BMI and still have too much of this hidden fat.
Ah, the skinny fat idea.
Sort of, yeah. DEXA also measures lean muscle mass, crucial for metabolism, strength, and bone density, which is key for osteoporosis risk.
Okay, that sounds pretty thorough. What extra detail does a low-dose CT scan add?
Low-dose CT gives even more precision on that visceral fat volume, the fat literally wrapped around your liver, pancreas, intestines. And we know now that this specific fat is very strongly linked to insulin resistance, inflammation, and heart disease risk. It's really this hidden fat, not the stuff you pinch under your skin, that drives a lot of the middle age spread and metabolic problems.
And muscle mass ties into this too.
Critically, as we age, we naturally lose muscle unless we work to keep it. Muscle is vital for managing blood sugar. So losing muscle while gaining visceral fat. That's the perfect storm the article mentions.
Yeah.
It really accelerates metabolic dysfunction, central obesity, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver, even faster cardiovascular aging.
Okay, this is a lot of data points. We've got genes, real-time glucose, body composition. So does it all just come down to our genes, or can we actually change things? You mentioned epigenetics earlier.
Exactly. This is maybe the most empowering part. Your genes are not your destiny. That's where epigenetics comes in. Epigenetics refers to the processes where your lifestyle, your diet, stress, environment, activity can actually flip gene switches, turn them on or off. It leaves these tiny molecular marks on your DNA, changing how your genes are expressed without changing the underlying code itself.
So our choices directly influence our genetic expression.
Absolutely. What you eat, how you sleep, stress levels, toxins, they all impact which genes are active. This affects your disease risk, inflammation, metabolism, even how fast you seem to age biologically. So when you put it all together, the DNA analysis, your blueprint, plus the real-time data from CGMs, food logs, DEXA, CT scans, your current expression, you start to map out your personal epigenetic terrain. It's like a snapshot of your health right now, shaped by both your genes and your choices.
That synthesis is powerful. It really points towards this idea of a truly personalized health profile. What's the ultimate promise here? What would this sort of living document look like for someone?
The promise is exactly that. A living, breathing health profile, constantly updated, guided by a health professional, of course. Imagine it includes dietary advice based specifically on your genes, a map showing how your body responds to different foods, based on your CGM data. It would track your visceral fat and muscle mass over time, include sleep quality, stress metrics.
Like a complete personal health dashboard.
Exactly. And the goal isn't just avoiding disease, though that's huge. It's about optimization. More energy, sharper thinking, weight loss that works for you, better metabolic health, longevity. These tools provide a tailored strategy based on your biology, not averages.
Let's bring this into sharper focus. The source material, coming from a cardiologist, naturally has a cardiovascular angle, especially for people, say, 40 and up.
Yes, definitely. Around age 40 is when statistically subtle but important cardiovascular changes can start appearing, even if you feel fine. This is where even more advanced imaging comes in, like a coronary CT scan combined with something called FAI, Fat Attenuation Index.
FAI. What does that add?
FAI goes beyond just seeing plaque in the heart's arteries. It actually quantifies inflammation within the plaque and the vessel wall around it. So it tells you not just if there's plaque, but how active or dangerous it might be. This gives incredibly powerful prognostic information. It can identify people at high risk of a fatal heart attack in the next, say, 8 years, even if their standard cholesterol numbers or risk scores look okay, maybe just intermediate.
Wow, so it's a much earlier, more precise warning system.
That's a great way to put it. It allows for much more precise risk stratification. And when you integrate all this data, the genomics, the metabolic insights from CGM, the body composition from DEXA-CT, and this advanced FAI imaging, doctors can then really prioritize interventions. Maybe it means starting medication earlier for some, or pushing really specific dietary changes, or focusing hard on visceral fat loss or muscle gain through targeted exercise for others. The ultimate goal, as the article stresses, isn't just preventing heart attacks, it's improving health span.
Health span, the years lived in good health.
Exactly, those years free from disease and decline. It's about using this personalized, proactive approach to maximize that healthy time.
It really feels like a paradigm shift. We've covered a huge amount, but the core message seems clear. We're entering an era where your own data is becoming central to your healthcare.
That really is the key takeaway. It boils down to own your data, own your health. Used responsibly under professional guidance, these tools, DNA tests, CGMs, advanced scans, tracking apps, they empower you. They let you make smarter, much more targeted decisions about your health.
It's a huge change from the old trial and error approach or just following generic advice that might not work for you. Now you can actually ask, what does my body need?
And get a genuinely evidence-based, personalized answer. And maybe the final thought to leave people with is this. Your health span, your quality of life, it increasingly depends on embracing this kind of personalized, data-driven view. What could your body's data reveal about your unique path to better health? It's worth considering.